Hello, everybody. Welcome to PixelPlay Sidequests, your bonus content here on the PixelPlay YouTube channel every Friday. My name is Adam, aka CS Radical. The two betrayers, the two traitors in the midst here, they are still not here, so it is just me. As I said on the main show earlier this week, we're going to take a look at essentially, what's coming down the pipeline and all like very few of it at this point. And then we're going to take a look at, what's to be announced still and get a sense of like maybe some stuff that might pop up as we get further in the year. So as a reminder, the Summer Game Fest schedule is starting to post up. So the gist of what we're getting so far is we're getting Guerrilla Collective on the 6th of June. You're getting us the actual Summer Game Fest showcase on the 7th. Day of the Devs will also be on that day. Future games will be on the 8th, along with Wholesome Direct, which honestly, that's been one of my favorite things for a while because it's got like a lot of the more chill games, and I've been kind of needing those recently. The Xbox showcase will be on the 9th. PC Gaming Show will also be on the 9th. Ubisoft will be on the 10th. Nintendo and Devolver Direct, or Devolver Digital, I should say. They're both still to be announced, but I imagine that they will be around that time. Sony has not said a thing yet either, but you imagine that more often than not, they're all going to be around that time. That's usually how it runs. They're usually somewhere around that age because they want to show people up. In fact, they may be before everybody else because they usually like to set the tone. Although, given how things are, they may just wait for Xbox to show what they've got and then go, all right, we can just show way more and better stuff. But we'll see. But I wanted to talk about just how desolate the rest of this year is right now. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be the case once we get past this the next few weeks, especially once all these showcases come in. But and I think it was the same way with 2023. I think we had a video where we were talking about just how quiet this year is going to be. And obviously that turned out to be massively incorrect. It ended up being one of the busiest years we had in a long time. So it may change, but to really prove a point, just how, I literally have one game looking down. I'm looking at GameSpot's release list. There is one game on my radar the rest of this year right now. Obviously that will change, but as of right now, one game the rest of the year. That's not great. I mean, honestly, Game Pass will throw stuff out there. I'll always take a grab at some indie stuff. PlayStation Extra shows some stuff too that gets me around to stuff. But in terms of new releases, man, it's one of those things where it's, stuff is coming, but you also think that stuff's never going to come. So you just assume that you're going to be spending the rest of the year just trying to figure out what you want to play. And then eventually you get busy. The backlog is just infinite, and you turn into Chris, who goes, I'm never going to be able to finish anything. But we'll start in June because, at this point, May is not really that big. Is there even anything in May other than Senua Saga? I know X-Define was a big thing, but multiverses, I know people always are interested in, but I wouldn't say there's anything there. So we'll just go right into June. And these are things that I'm just aware of what they are, and things that I think are interesting. So if there's something on the list that you think I should have mentioned, comment below, but it's just a matter of things that I'm I don't know if anybody's interested in this, and I'm not interested in it, so it's only coming from me here. If there was the three of us, maybe we could find some more, but either way. For Destiny fans, Destiny 2, The Final Shape is June 4th. So ideal, it sounds like that's going to be the last one before they move on to whatever they're doing. I know they're working on Marathon. I assume they must be considering a Destiny 3. I can't imagine Sony buying Bungie without there being a plan for a Destiny 3, so, who knows. The Killer Clowns from Outer Space game, which will probably not be great, but I think it's just cool that one's getting made. That's also June 4th. June 14th is Shin Megami Tensei 5. There's obviously my JRPG fix. I think that's a re-release or an expansion because it's called Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I'm pretty sure that they released 5 already, but I may just be mistaken. Elden Ring is getting DLC on the 21st. Switch is getting a Super Monkey Ball game on the 25th and a Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remastering on the 27th. If you're an anime guy, Spy X Family is getting a game on the 28th, and that's basically June. July, it has the only game I have any interest in right now, and that's The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak. Yes, another Trails game. The 259th game, if you ask some people with how many of these things there are. I want to say that's the 11th, I think now, but that'll be July 5th. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to the rest of this year so far. Actually, no, it's a lie. I forgot there's a second one, but I think that game's not going to be that great, but I'll get to that once we get into August. I don't know most of these games. I mean, there's an F1 manager game, which manager sports games are honestly like a lot more interesting than you'd expect sometimes. I used to really like Out of the Park Baseball. There was another MLB one. I can't think of the name of it, but it's I can't remember right now. But that's July 23rd. I just noticed above it EA Sports College Football 25 on July 19th. Man, I never have been a big football guy, but I know that a lot of people used to swear by the college football games back in the day on like the PS2 era. But like it's EA Sports, you don't expect anything out of them these days. Earth Defense Force 6, July 25th. If you've never played an Earth Defense Force game, go for it. They're dumb as fuck. Like if you like Helldivers and you want to see like in a more absurd version of Helldivers, that's what Earth Defense Force is. Frostpunk 2, July 25th, and that's mostly it there. In August, Cat Quest 3, which Cat Quest games are just they're cool little things. The other game that I was looking at that I was like, you know what, I'm interested because I'm an anime guy, but also I expect this game to not be great. That time I got reincarnated as the Slime Isekai Chronicles. I suspect that will just be anime shovelware, to be honest. Madden NFL 25, August 16th. Black Myth Wukong, August 20th. I forget what kind of game that is. I want to say that's a Souls-like, but I can't remember. Obviously, Kaylan and Chris will be excited. Star Wars Outlaws on August 30th, assuming it holds. September, Prison Architect 2, September 3rd. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, September 5th. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, September 9th. October, I don't see anything. And then November is Assassin's Creed Shadows, November 15th. And that's it. Like October, November, December, dead, basically. That will change. Very quickly will change because most stuff, when it gets announced in June, if it's going to be this year, it's usually in that October, November area. And then we get into the to be announced list. So this is in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to scroll and see things that like I look at and say, like, this could be cool if, you know, this gets released this year. So as I'm scrolling here, Avowed, you know, I don't know if that'll be this year, but I mean, obviously we're going to get Xbox Direct. We'll see what's going on with that. Let's see here. Even as I'm scrolling, I'm like, wow, like there's a lot less than I thought there was going to be, even from A to B. By Sweet Carol, if those remember, that's the I don't know what kind of game it's going to be, but it's the one that looked like, you know, the old, like super old, like 50s and 60s, like Disney animation sort of game. That was a really interesting looking thing. We'll see what that looks like. It says Clock Tower. I didn't realize this was a thing. A Clock Tower game. I don't know if this is the same as the horror series. I know a lot of people, if you are horror fans, you know the Legend of Clock Tower. So like if that was a cool thing coming, that'd be sweet. Let's see here. Ooh, Eastward. Is that the extra DLC they're supposed to be doing for Eastward Octopia? That's coming to Switch and PC potentially at some point. That if anybody knows, Eastward was my game of the year 2 years ago, I believe. So that was really cool. Apparently Epic Mickey getting a remaster. Makes sense. That's a kind of a neat thing to bring back. Final Fantasy 14 obviously will have more stuff going on. Let's see. This really is a lot deader. I thought I was going to have a few more things to name here, but no, it's not as much as I thought. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, I think that was a Summer Game Fest reveal. I thought that looked really cool. I'd hope to see more of that, and hopefully that comes out this year. Killing Floor 3, all of my friends are looking forward to that. You know, we don't know when we'll play it, but we know we will at some point because we always love playing Killing Floor 2. Marathon, I don't know if that will get a release date, but I'm sure we'll probably see more of it if Sony is doing something. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, I would suspect we should see a release date for that. It really surprises me just how like quiet this might actually be. And it kind of just proves my point as I'm still scrolling down. And a lot, I guess maybe I'll check another list because some of this is outdated. Like some of these games have released now, so I don't know if they've just maybe haven't updated their TBD list. But I'm even in the S's and I'm not seeing like a lot. Like Silent Hill 2, maybe we'll see some stuff about. The Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, I'm definitely looking forward to after playing Aiden Chronicle. Oh my god. I know The Precinct recently got a new trailer, which is sort of a, you know, like a sandbox game where you're playing as a cop. I'm curious about that because it kind of gives me like the older GTA vibes of like, just going around and just kind of causing shit. Um, yeah, like it's as I keep scrolling here, like Wild Bastards, the Wild West version of Void Bastards is coming, and that's mostly it. And the things that are on my radar, I'm gonna go just quickly pull up another list just to see if there's anything different. I know Game Informer usually has their own list too. Let's see if they have anything different. If it wants to load anyway, because apparently that's not working. So what about Game Rant? Do they have something? Big TBD. Okay, that has a little bit more. Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary. Yeah, I hope Ubisoft, has something to say about Beyond Good and Evil. That'd be nice. Indiana Jones, that's right. I don't know if we'll get a release date on that. I'm sure we'll just see more stuff about it. The Lollipop Chainsaw thing, I forgot about that. That's true. Lost Records of Bloom and Rage. I remember being interested in that, and I just can't remember what it was about. Metro Awakening, being the VR thing, that'll probably be up there at some point. Monster Hunter Stories. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Sonic X Shadow Generations thing. That's right. Forgot about that. And even their list is not that high, but I imagine that they're trying to be careful and not just throw everything on there. Is there anybody else that might have a little bit more? Let's see. The Gamer, do you have anything extra as I'm scrolling down that too? They're kind of in the same boat of just not having too much different. I mean, obviously GTA 6 is on there because you got to put it on there. Hades 2. So there's a couple. Jurassic Park Survival. I forgot about that. That's right. I immediately threw that at my friends. Marvel's Blade. Yep. That would be what I'd be wanting to see some stuff about. Monster Hunter Wilds. That's right. Monster Hunter Stories is the more like the Switch games that they've been doing. Monster Hunter Wilds is the new one. Is there anything else they have that's really on my not really. Unless there's something really towards the bottom. No, not really. So like we're at a point where, as I was saying, like I think a lot of what's going to come out of these showcases that we're going to see in June specifically, I think a lot of it's either going to be, ports, a lot of it's going to be remasterings, and I think we're going to get a lot of trailers if it's stuff that we haven't seen announced yet. I don't think it's going to be a lot of stuff that's coming out this year. My gut feeling is that, compared to 2023, we're probably getting a half 2023 this year. And that's just like a general vibe I'm getting. I know our vibes in 2023 were way off. I feel like, though, this time, like most of the projects that were going to get done got done in 2023 because a lot of them were delays too. There haven't been nearly as many delays this time around coming into 2024. So I don't think there's going to be nearly as many things that, have been pushed back and we're going to see finally coming out. My gut instinct, and I said this, I think it was last week or it might have been a couple weeks ago, that this might be a year where, a AAA studio, like a major, like between Microsoft and Sony, and maybe even Nintendo, might not have a Game of the Award nominee for Game of the Year. It's possible. Now, that can change. There's still obviously 7 months to go, but it really does feel this time around compared to last year. Like last year was just because I think a lot of us were also in that point of like, man, like E3, we don't know what's going on with that still. And we're coming out of the pandemic where a lot of these games, we don't know if they're going to keep getting pushed back and more. That it just felt like nothing was ever going to come out. Now it feels different. It doesn't feel like nothing's going to come out. It feels like there is nothing to come out. There's nothing built to come out. Last year was, this might get pushed again, or this, we've been waiting for this for a while and we haven't heard anything. This time around, it feels like there just isn't that many projects that could be possibly even able to come out, So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, like there's going to be a good chunk of stuff. And obviously the indie studio side of things will always come through with things. Like my Game of the Year list is going to be pretty well populated. Don't you worry. But, in terms of the big stuff, like it's going to be interesting. Like I think that's more of the interest of looking forward to these next coming weeks when we see if Sony does announce a date as well, and obviously what Xbox is doing, what Ubisoft is doing, if EA does anything, what Nintendo's up to. Like, I'm not nearly as interested this year in what they're doing. It's how much do they actually have? Like, from a podcaster's point of view, I'm more interested in, are we going to have stuff to talk about this year? Or are we going to be spending a lot of episodes for the rest of this year making stuff up? Or just like going like, ooh, what's the biggest thing in that? And like, we're just kind of like, doing a bunch of, off topics because there just isn't nearly as many things. It's very interesting because it really does feel like there isn't anything. That's what's interesting, is that there is nothing right now. Because, when there's a void, it's the mystery box, right? You never know what you're going to get. You never know if something's going to come out of nowhere and just wreck shop. And you don't know if there's going to be, just an absolute dead period where anything that comes out is bad or it's very small studio. And that leaves openings for gems, but it also leaves a lot of openings for, oh my God, how did this get released in this state? Or, oh my God, who thought this was a good idea? It works both ways for us because it means there's either going to be a lot of good shit that we just don't know about yet, so that's a lot to talk about, or there's going to be so much bad stuff that we're just going to be sitting there laughing, be like, I can't believe that these companies, with the amount of money that they have, are putting the stuff out that they are. It works both ways for us, and, it works for you guys because it means plenty of fun stuff to talk about. But honestly, like, as a betting man this year, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. There's obviously an opportunity for a good chunk of stuff to get dated for this year, but that doesn't mean it's going to release this year still. I look at both Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, Shadows, and Star Wars Outlaws. I don't guarantee those dates are going to hold. Ubisoft has a track record of pushing stuff back. So I don't know what's going to happen. And there's a lot of games, like I said, on that TBD list. We have no idea if they're going to get dated for this year at all. There could be a lot of stuff coming in March and February, like what seems to happen a lot now. We don't know. And if I was honestly to put money on it, I think we're leaning more to having a much quieter 2024 than a loud one. That's definitely where I'm leaning. Now, that's a safe bet given how the schedule looks like right now. But even knowing how much mystery and how much open area there is, there's so much real estate right now for these companies to come in and be like, this is our week. This is our time. We're going to take over on this moment. And I even look at all this open space and go, I don't even think there's enough to fill that even with mystery boxes. But we'll see. Could be way off. There could be a bunch of stuff again this year. Could be very much like 2023 where we go, holy crap, how are they going to decide on 6 nominees for Game of the Year this year? But at this point, I'm like, I think it might be easy pickings the way things are going. But we shall see. Obviously, you guys watching, let us know in the comments. What do you think? What are you looking forward to? What do you think is going to get dated for this year? What do you think is going to fill out all that open real estate? Let us know in the comments below. And obviously, since you're on YouTube, and if you haven't already, like the video, helps us out in the algorithm, helps out our metrics. And obviously, if you haven't already and you like what you're watching here, subscribe. And remember, 250 episodes, random as shit cereal episode. No joke. Just going to talk about cereal for probably half an hour. Maybe even longer. You know how we get with random side rants. But either way, obviously, at the bottom, there's a link tree. Go to that for a link to our socials, link to our Discord. And we will see you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now at noon for content, whether it's Retro Rando with me, where you get to watch me play usually pretty bad old games that I have no idea what they're going to be when I roll, or you have the main show on Wednesday, and obviously the side quest here every Friday. So, with that being said, guys, take care. Bye-bye for now.